In the previous chapter, we prepared the Airvo to provide humidified room air. Now, let's look at setting up the supplementary oxygen supply. Room air has an oxygen concentration of 21%. However, we can increase the level of oxygen delivered to the patient using the oxygen inlet extension kit. The extension kit adds oxygen at the inlet port on the back of the Airvo. This supplementary oxygen mixes with room air before being filtered, warmed and humidified inside the Airvo. Before use, make sure the oxygen kit is securely attached to the filter holder, that the filter holder is not loose, and that the power cord is secure too. Be sure to read the warnings for oxygen use in the operating manual before using oxygen with the Airvo. The oxygen concentration in the gas delivered by the Airvo depends on two values: the Airvo flow rate and the flow rate of oxygen from your wall supply. The total flow rate delivered to the patient, however, is controlled by the Airvo. Adding oxygen doesn't change the flow rate of the respiratory gas supplied. So, if the Airvo flow rate is 45 litres per minute, the patient will receive respiratory gas at 45 litres per minute, whether the oxygen flow is 5, 10 or 15 litres per minute. Altering the oxygen flow rate only changes the concentration of oxygen in the respiratory gas. This oxygen chart helps us set the oxygen flow rate. It is attached to the side of the Airvo and can also be found in your instruction manual. The chart shows the relationship between the Airvo flow rate, the wall oxygen flow rate, and the concentration of oxygen delivered by the Airvo. For example, if the Airvo flow rate is 45 litres per minute, and the oxygen flow rate is 10 litres per minute, then the concentration of oxygen delivered by the Airvo will be 39%. This patient requires an oxygen concentration of 40% and an Airvo flow rate of 30 litres per minute. We can determine the wall oxygen flow rate she will need by using the oxygen chart. First, check the Airvo flow setting by pressing the Mode button. In this case, it is correct. If not correct, refer to the swing tag to change it. When the flow rate is correct, find the column on the oxygen chart that corresponds to the Airvo gas flow rate, in this case 30 litres per minute. Scan down the column until you find the oxygen fraction desired, 40%. Scan along the row and read the oxygen flow rate required, in this case 7 litres per minute. So to deliver an oxygen concentration of 40% to the patient when the Airvo flow rate is 30 litres per minute, set an oxygen flow rate of 7 litres per minute on your oxygen flow meter. Keep in mind that the patient's breathing pattern can affect the fraction of inspired oxygen. Room air will dilute the respiratory gas if the patient's peak inspiratory demand exceeds the Airvo flow rate. For this reason, you should always use a pulse oximeter to check the patient's oxygen saturation is appropriate. Finally, whenever you turn the Airvo off, you must turn off the oxygen supply to ensure that oxygen does not build up inside the humidifier.